Hope you guys had a great couple of weeks. The sound's coming out here. Yeah, I gotta kill this. Give me a second. Kill this sound. Hope you guys had a great couple of weeks where we've been missing, but we're gonna be more consistent going forward. Be some change-ups. We announced the app. The CNC app is now live. Had to get through that, so we had to bring almost 2,000 members over. And we've done that. So now everybody loves the new app. We're making money. We're changing a lot of lives. So now we can start doing Future Money again every week. So welcome to Future Money. I'm your host, Hermano Pantoja. And we're here to get you ready for what's coming next. We don't want you reacting. We want you to know what's coming before so you can position. Again, so the episode today is filled with moves that could define your week, quarter, even your life. Today's episode is going to be a blueprint on what's coming next. You think you missed Bitcoin at 118? Well, we're going to tell you why you could still be early. Two, we're going to also talk about how Ethereum is running hot right now, why it's running hot, and how smaller tokens like ENS could 5-6 times your money before the masses even realize what's happening. XRP just broke its 2018 high, but does that mean that we're going to crash? Also, we're going to talk about IOTA, a forgotten crypto that at one point 10 years ago was number 4 on the list and could be making a comeback, and in healthcare of all things. So, and we're going to also discuss stocks, AI, nuclear and AI, and we're going to talk about Oklo, NewScale, a lot of other stocks that could be powering the AI revolution. So if you're ready, let's get started. Let me see how many people we got on here today. I need you guys to like the video, and also please drop a like, something in the comments. And if you want a question, I would love it if you would do a super chat here on the thing. And if I see it, I'll see it on one of the screens and I'll answer your question. Now, I'll answer questions. It's not in the super chat, but I'll see it if it's the super chat. So make sure you use that super chat feature. It also helps us creators continue to give you great content. So it's always a plus. You've been making money. A lot of you guys have changed your lives. It wouldn't hurt to do a little super chat. So back to what I was saying is that I want to first talk about Bitcoin. The biggest question I get now is that people ask me, they say, well, Armando, is it too late for Bitcoin? I see Bitcoin at over 100,000, 120, 121, got to 122. Am I too late? Well, not necessarily. Now, to be honest with you, you're too late in Bitcoin for those. I don't believe that no other crypto going forward from this point will give you the gains that Bitcoin gave you 10 years ago. It's that wave is over. You have to get that out of your mind. That's not going to happen anymore. So too many people know about it. There's too many derivatives in the market. The organizations, the institutions, and the banks are already involved. You missed that. But that's not a sad thing to do. And I give you another thing, people trying to be creators and stuff. A lot of the creators came up during COVID. COVID's never going to happen again. So some of the people, you can always do well, but you got to understand is that sometimes you come to a point in life where you missed a wave or something, and now you came at the end, it's too late. You can prepare yourself for the next wave. Look at what happened in this wave and how I missed it. And then prepare yourself for the next one. Don't try to chase the wave that you missed because it's too late. There's another wave's going to come. There's something else is going to happen, and you'll be able to capitalize off that. So if you missed, for example, Bitcoin, you remember all the times that people told you about it, you heard about it, and you rejected it. What do? It's a thinking exercise. You sit back and you think, why did I reject Bitcoin? Well, it's because my idiot cousin told me about it and I didn't trust him. Or because I had so much fear at that point in my life, I got scammed before, so I didn't want to get scammed again. Or I just didn't pay attention to financial things back then. Or I just didn't understand it and I didn't really dig deeply into it. Now, from all those things, you can kind of figure out what happened. Where should I have picked it up? Where should I have paid attention? And what should I have done? And then that thinking exercise will give you a template on how waves happen and how people reject them, including yourself. And now you apply that template to the next wave of something that's coming in the future. Could be quantum computers. Could be nuclear. It could be nanotechnology in the future. It could be some other wave that's coming that we don't even know yet. And then apply that same model to the future and you'll be successful. You'll be at the beginning. So anytime you miss something, it's not a negative thing or a sad thing. It's a good learning experience. Now, back to the subject of Bitcoin. We're at 118. It's too late to 1,000 times your money. Bitcoin's not going to 10 million anytime soon. It probably will eventually, but not anytime soon. So that's not even 1,000 times. That's only 100 times. So we would have to go to 100 million a coin for you to get 1,000 time return. So that's probably not going to happen. Now, if you got Bitcoin at 1,000, you're up 122. It's probably not going to happen like that again. So, but you can make a lot of money still in Bitcoin and crypto in general. Bitcoin is now turned into what a lot of people are saying is a new savings account. No inflation, endless with all the inflation, all the money print, they're going to drop the rates. Bitcoin can act as a hedge against that. There's a fixed 21 million supply. That makes it a counterweight to any kind of fiat currency erosion. The treasury boom is quietly underway also. They're pressing, Trump is pressing really, really hard to get the interest rate down. Now remember, when the interest rate drops, more money comes into the economy and it will cause inflation down the line. Now that we have inflation kind of curtailed, we can take chances like that now. So that also is going to cause the value of our currency to go down. That's the way the whole cycle works, right? So with companies like MicroStrategy, GameStop, Trump Media just bought $2 billion of Bitcoin, $2 billion of Bitcoin with a B. We're starting to see a new wave of adoption coming. Asset managers are even starting to encourage their high net worth individuals getting in Bitcoin. Now, the thing about it is that we're not in a retail frenzy yet. This is very different than what we've seen in the past. This rally has been driven so far by quiet institution, organization, and bank buying. Retail and frenzy hasn't even happened yet. That's what's going to push Bitcoin over to 250. So you want a two-time gain, Bitcoin is a perfect choice. And that's a crazy gain. An average gain in the market is 8 to 9%. We're talking about an 80, 90% return. That's worth it to me. That's a good return. We just have to dismiss it from our minds trying to capture those old. That's how you lose all your money with the meme coins and all these other, because you're chasing 1,000x returns. Those days are over. It's just over. You just missed it. So you have to start being more conservative and have to start being more tactful and being able to analyze risk versus reward a lot better. So we got 1,000 and we got 1,100 people in here. So I need you guys to please like the video. We only got 18 likes on my side. I think we should have a little bit more likes than that. We only got 201 likes, but we got 1,100 people in here. So CNC is wide open. We're going to do we're going to start doing commercials, not commercials, but more like showing you how the CNC works in these episodes going in the future. We just haven't done that yet. So another thing I like is Ethereum is also exploding. Like a lot of people counted Ethereum out. They thought Solana was going to replace it, especially the young kids. They don't understand the concept of adoption and technology. They don't understand any of these things of how adoption works. Remember, crypto is, you know what, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. When people ask me what I do, I tell them everything I do a lot of different things, but I mostly say I'm a futurist. And they say, well, what is a futurist? So I say, well, what I do is I predict how technology is being adopted. And that includes, I say, nuclear, quantum computers, AI, and crypto. They said, crypto? How, is that a technology? That's not a technology. That's an investment. And it really blows my mind that people don't understand that crypto falls under all of that. Like the average person does not realize that crypto is actually a technology. No different than AI or anything else. It's a technology. Now, the financial side of it, what we're doing with crypto, why Bitcoin is going up, because we're investing in a technology. We're buying pieces of that technology that we hope will one day do something in the future, become a currency, store of value, something else. It's all speculation on the potential of this technology. That's the entire crypto market up to this day. It's speculation on the potential of each individual cryptocurrency. That's all it is. And people don't realize, most people don't even realize that crypto is a technology. They say, I thought it was an investment. I thought it was like the stock market. No, it's not. And that's what caused a lot of these metrics like market cap and all that stuff to get put on crypto, but it's really a technology. We don't put market caps on Microsoft Office. I mean, what's the market cap? Oh my God. Think about this. What if somebody came to you? And this is what gets me so mad every single time. I'm going to go back to XRP. You talk about the potential of XRP, getting to 10,000, whatever it's going. I believe in that potential, but it's going to be over a longer time period. those people would come back with market cap. Now, market cap is applied to stocks for a reason. Stocks have revenue, they have assets, they have people. So market cap is a good metric for that. XRP don't have none of that. Now, Ripple has that stuff, but XRP is a cryptocurrency. XRP has no employees. It has no assets. It has no revenue. Nothing. None of those things. It doesn't pay taxes because it's a technology. That's like, now, let's say it for a comparison. Let's do a comparison. What if somebody came to you and says, wow, I think Microsoft Office, I think that, let's say you back to 1992, you said, wow, this Microsoft Office stuff's doing good. I think a lot of people are going to buy it. Some dude came around the corner, Microsoft Office, but what about the market cap? That sounds silly. Market cap, that doesn't even apply to Microsoft Office. Well, you can't be, no, another 100,000 people can't buy Microsoft Office. The market cap is too high. What does that matter? It's a technology that's going to be adopted. None of that matters. Like, what if somebody told you, oh my God, I mean, nobody's going to buy the new, let me see. Regardless, you can't apply market caps to technology. It doesn't even make sense when you put it like that. But that's what they try to do because people apply stock market metrics to, some of that stuff is valid. I'm not saying it's all not valid. You know, you can, technical analysis, all this stuff does work on crypto. But it's more of a technology. When you look at it over a long period of time, short term, yeah, technical analysis, all this stuff matters. Long term, none of that matters. We got two. So what do you think about Ondo? I like Ondo a lot, but it normally starts doing well in an altcoin season boom, so we'll see. What are your thoughts on ETFs that pay a weekly dividend as a utility? Seems too good to be true. I don't know what ULTY is. Sure, it's some of the ETF. Remember, anytime there's an investment that pays out a guaranteed return over 10%, I would be scared of it. And I would be afraid of it. There's something wrong. Somebody put up a video the other day and they talked about how they want, okay, this is what people do sometimes. They go online and they find high yield dividends, right? If you go and you look up the dividends, some of them get to return like 10, 20, 30% a year. Now, Warren Buffett's main dividend strategy is dividend investing. He buys a bunch of Coca-Cola and lives off the dividends. Now, you don't think Warren Buffett is so stupid? I mean, so not smart enough to look at higher yielding dividends and pay in those because those dividends aren't guaranteed. That's the reason why they can offer. I can offer you anything. Am I going to pay you? Hey, invest in Mondo coin. I'll pay you 830%. I mean, sometime you may not get paid out. You see, I can offer you anything. But sometimes they don't pay. A lot of times they don't pay those dividends out. They just won't pay the dividend. If they don't reach certain guidelines, they don't have the money. So that's the reason why a lot of these ETFs and all these dividends, they offer high yields because you're not going to get them all the time. You may get them for a couple of years. The 1 year you don't get them, 2 years, you don't know. The risk is high. That's the reason. Anytime they invest, the return is high. The risk is also high if it's guaranteed. So let's talk a little bit about. So back to Ethereum. Ethereum's up over 65% in 30 days, starting to decouple from Bitcoin. That signals what the start of many people are calling altcoin season, a stretch where risky cryptos start to outperform the big ones. Ethereum name service, I believe, could be a big one. Ethereum name service, with Ethereum being up there 65% in a month, Bitcoin's only up 15%. So there's two major crypto laws that really one major crypto law that really helped out Ethereum, and that's the Genius Act. Right, they benefit Ethereum directly because Ethereum powers most of the stablecoin market and decentralized finance. A lot of public companies, if you've heard about it in the news, have started to buy Ethereum and hold it the same way MicroStrategy did with Bitcoin. And you got to remember this is that stablecoin. This is why I think Ethereum will outpace Bitcoin a lot going forward for the rest of this year. My projection on Ethereum is 8 to 12,000. Right now we're a little bit under 4,000. It's because, think about this from a smart company. Now, first, let's go back a little bit. Let's describe how stablecoins work. Now, stablecoin, back when crypto started, Bitcoin was supposed to be a currency. That's the reason why I didn't invest in it early on. I should have, but I didn't. I was actually invested in the technology, not the actual Bitcoin, which was a mistake, but I was very early. So that's what a lot of people did back then. So Bitcoin is supposed to be a currency. We're supposed to be paying for stuff with it by now. That's what we thought. Next 10 years, we're going to all be paying stuff. So I thought that was good. The price is going to stay about what it was, but I was going to invest in integrating the technology everywhere. So it didn't end up being like that because it's hard to use Bitcoin, especially back then with it being so volatile. Now, in the early days of Bitcoin, you could see 20, 30% swings in one day. I have a friend who's now rich now because I got him into crypto early. I remember he would jokingly tell me, like we'd get really excited, talk. Well, I'm sure you guys do that with your friends sometime. If you're going to invest, that's why it's good to have a circle of winners around you, to build people around you that are interested in what you are and all want to grow. Because like the same way you call somebody about a basketball game, oh man, did you see that dunk last night? Did you see that goal last night in soccer? Did you see the race last night? Friends that are interested in moving ahead will call you with that same excitement for investing. Now, my friend would call me up. Oh, man, did you see what Bitcoin did? Oh, man, I'll look at it. What's causing it, man? And we talk about it for 2 hours. So he used to jokingly say to me back in the early days of Bitcoin, I'd call him, say, man, Bitcoin's up 15%. What do you think it is? He's, oh, man, don't call me unless it's up 20%. He hung the phone up on me just as a joke. Because he said 50% of the day was nothing. That's how much it was. But remember, for something that moves that much, either way, it don't matter if it's up or down. People get scared. They don't want to use that for a currency. Like, imagine you're on the employee side. This dude works for you one day, let's say a week, and you pay him $1,000 for the week. And then you pay him on Friday, on Saturday, the price is up 30%. Oh, man, I guess I waited a day. And now imagine the dude is getting the money. Now, let's say in the opposite side, I pay him $1,000 on Friday. He goes to sleep, wakes up in the morning, it's down 30%. Now he can't pay his rent. You see, that volatility works both ways. And other people would get nervous, get scared. So there had to be something that came to the market that would be stable. Hence, stablecoins came in around 2016. And they were supposed to be the answer to that volatility. We can use all the portability, the efficiency, the transformative power of crypto. We can make it in a coin that never moves. The way we do that is we're going to attach it to the dollar. So we issue 1,000, 10,000, 100 million crypto tokens, and we're going to have a dollar for every crypto token we issue. We're going to have a dollar to back it up. But what are we going to do? We're going to build our own blockchain? No, Ethereum's out. We're going to build it on Ethereum. So anytime we transfer those stablecoins back and forth, I pay my employee that $1,000. I got to pay Ethereum blockchain a little bit of money to process that transaction. So now Ethereum is a needed Bitcoin. Now stablecoins have grown since then. And now with the Stablecoin Act, a lot of companies are preparing to start to transfer and transact with that stablecoin. Now, if you're a smart company, what would you do? Well, I can buy Ethereum right now at reduced prices, hold it, and pay my fees along the way at a cheaper price. Or I can wait 5 years when the price is at 10 times higher, and I can buy my Ethereum then. A smart company is going to buy it now. That causes buying demand pressure. The price goes up over time, and then Ethereum actually outpaces Bitcoin for the rest of the year. A lot of companies are doing that. Bitmine, BitDigital, a lot of them are shifting their entire business models to Ethereum accumulation right now. Now, ENS is Ethereum name service. And that one also, I believe, will do well if Ethereum does well. It does well. So let's talk a little bit about Robinhood, HBAR, and IOTA. What does this do to my parties on here? Let me ask you a question. How did the chat devolve into talking about parties and arguing about that? Sometimes it's funny when I look at these chat comments. It's weird, man. Y'all be arguing about weird stuff. So no more super chats. If you've been making money, you've been learning a lot, please drop a super chat. That's the way that we can keep this going. This is an expensive studio. So that's a way that you guys can help. XRP. We're talking about XRP. We're just not there yet. So XRP hit a record high, right? But also some warning signs from 2018. So XRP just hit a level that it hasn't seen since 2018. That's good news. Back then, this kind of rally ended with a crash, though. A lot of people ask me about that crash. They believe that history may repeat itself. It did do a retraction down from like right under 390 all the way back down to where it's at right now, like 315. So as of right now, it's 310. So there's a new high, old pattern. Regulatory wind is starting to fuel what's going on with this lawsuit. So hopefully this lawsuit is going to be dropped soon. And this will end the years of legal uncertainty. And it can create a lot of optimism as well. There's a lot of ETF speculation. There is a speculation of a leveraged XRP futures ETF. It just got approved. Traders hope it will open the door for a true spot ETF. That's the holy grail that we want. But the odds of that on places like Polymarket are very high. Now, there is a flashback risk. In 2018, there was a huge crash in XRP right after it hit all-time highs. It was overhyped, weak liquidity. A lot of people say that it feels similar. I don't believe it. But I wanted to address the news that's out there and all the FUD, I would call it, that said that there's not going to be broad adoption of XRP. Now, I was in the studio just now and talking about XRP's adoption. And there's rumors also that it's starting to replace the Swift network. And that is some of that's true. The pre-work is being done for XRP to replace the Swift network. But you got to remember, keep this in mind, is that it takes a long time to integrate technology. Now, when I worked at AAA, head engineer of the travel project, one time back in 2016, there was a huge push for, I don't want to say it politically correctly, multi-genders, like 100 genders. I think at the time it was like 64 genders. I don't know how many there are now. I apologize. But we had an initiative at AAA. They wanted to be part of the wave, right? Rainbow flags everywhere. I'm not going to get political here, but they told us that now we got to change the system so that we accept multiple genders. So I was the engineer coming to me and said, Armando, we got to change this. Right now it says male, female. We need to allow for 87 genders. So in that situation, now how long do you think it would take to do that? So when people sign up for product services at AAA, they could pick their own gender. It seems like something easy, right? All it would take is somebody change a little code. Yeah, if the system is by itself isolated, don't take that much. But an interconnected system like that, to change that took a year of work of like 30 engineers. Now, the reason why is because, for one, we stored that gender as a binary. You're either a male or a female, that's it. So now that we have multiples, we got to store it as an integer. So you can have, and also the integers have to be tied to the gender names. So it took, then also now, model, remember, AAA is more than just a roadside service company. We also sold insurance, home insurance, car insurance, also a bank. A lot of things that AAA does. Travel, I was into travel. They also do insurance. So the way that we judged insurance risk was male and female. If you're a male and you're underage, you're probably going to crash your car more likely than a female. So now how do we do the risk for the multiple genders, you see, without causing discrimination? So it took a year of work, development, meetings to change that from two genders to multiple genders. A solid year of work for me and 30 other people. Now, that's just that. Now, the reason I tell you this is because technology takes a long time to integrate. This whole Swift system for XP could take 10 years, even if they're moving at breakneck speed before the whole system's over. That's why I tell people, for one, I'm not projecting it, but I'm saying the potential for XRP to get to 10,000 is there. And two, it's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to take 10, 20 years. But who wouldn't wait 10 years for a 33,000% return? I will. Even if it took 20 years. Well, let's wait to 20 years. Along the way, you're going to be getting profits anyway. So we got a question, thoughts on AMBQ IPO. I haven't looked at that, but I'll take a look at it for next week. The Flare token, you better be careful with that. Astro Jerry asked me a question about the Flare token. Now, there's a big scam going around with targeting XRP holders called the Flare scam. And what they do is that people come online and they say, either message you directly. If you talk about XRP or visit XRP pages, they'll come to you and say, hey, man, did you hear about the Flare airdrop? Oh, okay. Well, that's just for XRP holders. And what you will do is that he'll send you a link. You'll connect your wallet, and they'll wipe you out for all your XRP. You got to be careful with that. They're scammers. There is no way for you to get easy money. There are airdrops, but they're rare now. And you got to be careful. Airdrops just come. You don't have to do anything for them. They just come into your wallet. So you got to be very careful. There's a lot of scams. As crypto market starts to rev up, hypes gets in, it's going to be more and more scams, and they're all targeting your crypto. You got to be very careful. You're going to lose everything. Anybody, I'm a rule of thumb. Anybody that approaches you for any reason, I don't care if it's on social media or in person, really, for an investment or any kind of way you're going to get some free money is 90% a scam. Now, the 10% may not be, but 90% it is. So you got to be very careful with your money. People that are good investments or there's free money to be made, they don't have to approach you. People come to them. So Ripple posted a video about staking XRP on the Flare network on their YouTube. Now, you got to be careful. Is that true? That's probably fake. That whole video is probably fake. That's what I'm telling you. Now, you got to be careful with that. That XRP page is probably fake. Now, it is probably, it's probably like Brad Garlinghouse said, you have to be careful. AI, they can replicate anybody. That's actually a scam they've been doing. Brad Garlinghouse comes out, says something on a fake page. All you see is XRP and you believe it's true. I doubt that that's true. How could you stake one coin on another coin? It doesn't even make sense. How could you possibly, maybe I'm wrong. I could just be missing something. But how could you stake XRP on another platform? That's almost impossible. They're going to make you send it over there so they can steal it from you. Now, maybe you can, and I could just be behind on something. I'm okay with that. But bees, be careful. Be careful. That doesn't sound right to me. Be very careful with that stuff. That doesn't make sense. Maybe it's a way they came up with. I wouldn't even trust the network to have it because that doesn't even if it was a legit company, a lot of legit companies go bankrupt and don't pay you back. That even if that's true and a legit company is doing it, I'd still be scared of it because it just doesn't sound right. There's no way, you got to remember this, and I hate going on tangents. There is no way to create value from nothing like that. I remember back in 2020, they had these yield coins and all this stuff, and they would do this and move money around and you'd get a yield. That's impossible. Value has to be created from something. It has to be created from something. It can't just roll around in the system like, what's that song when you were a kid? Turn it sticky. Well, I forget the name of the song. It was like hot potato or something. I don't know. So let's move on. Yeah, be careful, man. They're going to try every possible thing for the next year to steal your crypto. Be very careful of text messages, calls, all of these things. So I want to talk about one crypto that could be making a huge comeback. What are the risks of staking on Robinhood? It's zero almost. I mean, I ain't going to say zero, a few percent, because Robinhood could go under and take the money like FTX did, but that's the only risk really of staking on Robinhood. So IOTA is a token that was at one point got right under XRP at number 4 on CoinMarketCap. Now, I was a heavy believer in IOTA, and I actually bought a bunch of it. I bought a bunch at IPO, bought a bunch. I probably put like $50,000, $60,000 into it almost 10 years ago. I believed in IOTA, but when you're a pioneer in a technology or anything else, some of the things that happen you've never seen before. And when they happen, you don't really, you understand it in hindsight, but while it was happening, you didn't. Now, the way that people funded cryptos back then was through ICO. Now, an ICO is you put out a white paper, say, I'm going to create this coin, but I need your money first. Now, it seemed like an innovative way to raise capital for a project or a company. So you take the money from somebody, and it would say in there, like, look, also back then in 2016, all you had to do is write a paper. People were getting millions and millions in investments from that. They would create a white paper. We're going to take this coin. It's going to change the world. Send the money to this address. People would send it. Some of those coins, in Polygon is one that it did good from that, but a lot of those failed. So when it was happening, I thought it was innovative. But in hindsight, I realized that because of human psychology, it wasn't going to work on a grand scale. And they don't do that no more. Because what would happen is that you got a group of probably younger people. They're not going to be 50, 60 years. They're going to be probably in their 20s and 30s. I was in my 20s back then. And they create a white paper. Now, in the white paper, it says they're going to, out of the $100 million they get, let's say, for example, let's say 50 million, out of the $50 million they get, they're going to put 20 towards development, 20 towards marketing, and the team is going to take 3-4 million each. I mean, that makes sense for, for their future work, So what would happen a lot with ICOs is that they would put all the work into raising capital. And then once they got the capital, they would put the work, because they would have to deliver something so they wouldn't get in trouble. It's illegal if you take money and don't deliver your investment. So they would deliver the project, then there's no incentive to continue. So they would just quit because it's almost like a reverse exit. They got the money up front. In a normal exit, you get the money at the end. You do all this work, you build a company, and you finally get your big payday when you get acquired. But there they got the payday at first, so that removes the incentive to continue. So a lot of these great projects failed because people didn't have the incentive to continue anymore. IOTA's team got in fights, and they were going online fighting with each other on Twitter after they got the money. So the project that could have been the greatest crypto project in history, that's really 10, 15 years ahead of its time, that really is unhackable, that's not quantum resistant, quantum proof. Quantum computers can't even break it. It works offline. It's a feeless transfer system, which means you pay fees in Ethereum, Bitcoin. Well, they don't charge fees. It's all the way the system works is that in order for me to receive money, I have to process the next transaction. So it works in a way that there's no problems. Perfect system. But they could not get it on a large scale because they all had the money. There's no reason to continue. But now it's starting to make a comeback. Most people forgot about IOTA. Everybody else was chasing these meme coins, whatever, but they were quietly. Now, then they got their act together a few years ago. They've been building. Now they're launching a brand new network. They're working with governments. They may even be solving some real problems now. IOTA was actually was going to be for IOTA. The IoT and IOTA is meant for the Internet of Things. Internet of Things is a concept in which all objects are on the internet. And if we have all objects on the internet, we get a lot of data in, and we can start making decisions and solve problems because so much data is coming in. Imagine if every item in this whole room had a small camera on it. So we could see every angle of the room, and we could do a lot of things that we couldn't do before. With cheap hardware and fast internet speeds, we can do that now. But the problem, but the problem with that is that what's the incentive for these devices doing all that and sharing information? If I have a car going down the road and it's filled with cameras and sensors, why would I share my data with everybody else? Now, IOTA was supposed to fit into place of that to where you would get paid for sharing your data. So these devices could transfer data between each other, and they could also transfer payments. So if you drove around on the street a lot longer than somebody else, and you gave more data to the system, you get paid more. It's a great idea, but didn't work. So IOTA launched back in 2015. Other coins pumped, disappeared, but they kept building. That's good. And they just dropped a new upgraded version last week. So they're a community project now. They're doing a lot of work in Africa, Europe. That's where crypto really was at first, was the beginnings, digital IDs. That's going to be a big thing. Now they're testing a lot of what they're doing in the United States and trying to tokenize U.S. funds as well. So IOTA is one of the dark horses out there that I really believe in. I'm not going to step out and say this is going to go to a price or whatever. And I've said this before, if IOTA does well, I'll be happy. And I think it's something that you should look at. But I'm not going to project it or say I think it's going to. So if it goes up, I'm not going to say who listened, because I only say it when I come out on a limb and I say, look, this is going up. IOTA is something I personally believe in. I think it's going to do well, but on the other hand, it hasn't done well in 10 years. So I still hold mine. I'm not going to acquire any more. I'm holding what I got, and I just really think it's a great project. and it has potential, and it may be worth the risk versus reward, but it may not be successful. I don't know, but I think it's going to do well. We got, is crypto long-term the mark of the beast? It could be. I don't know. I mean, I've thought of that myself. I mean, like, I'm from a Christian household, grew up in the church, and let's just talk about that. Now, I don't think it's the mark of the beast, but it has crossed my mind that it could be. Because it did say that you can't buy or sell unless you got the mark on your head or your forehead. Now, that's what crypto is. You either remember it you can memorize your private key, or you got it on your hand somewhere with like a chip. I've thought about that, but I would say I think it's not. But I say a small chance it could be. But could Trump be the Antichrist? Well, that's a 2% chance maybe. Could Obama be it? I don't know. Maybe. You see, so some of these things you can't like make decisions on or act on, but you keep it in the back of your head. Maybe it could be. I don't know. Like every president could have been the Antichrist. I don't know. Maybe, see. So I think that I'm gonna just go ahead and speak as a Christian. I try to keep stuff separated, but I'm just going to do it. Somebody asked me a specific question. Is that I believe if discernment is something that we should be given. That's the reason why we read our Bible and pray, because of discernment. And I think that if you did those two things, when the Antichrist or the mark of the beast came, you would be able to tell. It'd be clear as day to you that it was the Antichrist or something bad, like or the mark of the beast. It would be clear as day to you. It would be because you can't be judged based on what you thought could have been. Now you have to be sure. So if I was sure it was the mark of the beast and I was either too scared or either I wanted the benefits of it and I went anyway, that's how you'll be judged. You can't be judged on something that you kind of thought. I mean, that's my personal opinion. XYZ says, Armando, you're a smart man, at least you're honest. Try to be. Somebody says, Armando, me and two of your followers will be at the Bad Buddy concert. I'm actually be in Puerto Rico on Friday. I got to go down, start working on my house. So, man, I want to go to the Bad Bunny concert, but I've only been to like 3 concerts in my life. I would like to go to that, though. Maybe I can get in the casita he has. A lot of reggaeton guys follow me. Alex Rose, Don Omar, Zion from Zion and Linux. Talk to all those guys a lot. But I don't know Bad Bunny. He's never reached out. Alex Rose is a big believer in XRP. That's the thing about you guys don't realize that a lot. I know celebrities in our CNC group, athletes, reggaeton, rappers, singers, but we just they don't use their real names, of course. But they're in there. So you're talking to them every day. You just don't know. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but they're in there. Somebody says, will the CNC be at the Invest Fest this year? Be at the Invest Great this year? I guess you mean Invest. I'm not going to Invest Fest this year because I believe it's in decline and it's a waste of money for what I was doing. Now, from the consumer side, if you're going just to learn, that's perfectly fine for you. But I just believe that if you look at like a lot of those festivals in that sphere, Essence Fest and all this, they're starting to decline. So I don't think there'll be as many people as last year. And last year really wasn't, it was a lot of work, but it was, like I said, you have a lot of fun there. You'll meet a lot of people, you can network, but cost reward ratio like that, no, it's not worth it for us. We'd rather put that time and effort somewhere else. But like if it was a consumer, you just want to go hang out, have fun, listen to some music, learn a little bit maybe, you could go. I mean, it's great for that. Yeah, somebody says, you have always been a stand-up guy, you deserve super chats. Exactly. You're right about that. I deserve super chats. What are your thoughts on Oxen coin? That's the coin that was created by JP Morgan in the past. I think that could do well in this cycle. It's not one of my top coin holdings, but I don't have a problem with it. We got about 5 minutes. XCN, let me see. Oh, okay. XCN was created by ex-JP Morgan developers. That's why I got the mistake at. Sorry about that. Still saying, I mean, it's similar. It wasn't their coin, but it still had some association with JP Morgan. Honey Lips, I appreciate the super chat. Appreciate you, Chris. Armando deserves more super chats, super chats. What's your take on Polyswarm? Where can we buy IOTA? I don't know. I haven't bought IOTA in like 7 years. I don't know. You have to look that up. I mean, I don't know. Somebody could tell me where to buy it, but in the chat maybe, but I don't know exactly where to buy it. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll start doing these every Wednesday at 6. So we got more engagement today. 5, 6. And 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I appreciate you and have a great rest of your day.